On Palm Sunday this week, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa, attempted to enter the Church of the Holy Sepulchre for the Palm Sunday annual service and was blocked by the Israeli police. Immediately, nearly the entire world jumped on this story and, of course, blamed Israel, with some even calling it Christian persecution. Well, as usual, there's more to this story than first meets the eye. And warning, I don't think this take is going to be very popular. I'm Justin Hilton, and this is the Israel Guys. We'll get into this whole incident with the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, but real quick, if you'd like to see a very epic and inspirational film about the Temple Mount, you should definitely check out I Am Israel, the Mountain of the King movie. Follow the path of the glory of God and meet Jewish men and women who dream of worshiping God in the rebuilt temple once again. Pick up a copy today at theisraelguys.store. So yesterday was Palm Sunday, and Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa, he is the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, he was not allowed to hold services in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. He was blocked by the Israeli police. And when this story initially came out, the entire Catholic world and much of the Christian world in general got all up in arms. From people like Matt Walsh on X calling it, quote, totally outrageous and inexcusable, all the way to Ambassador Mike Huckabee saying, quote, to deny Latin Patriarch Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa and 3 other priests from entering the church to offer a blessing on Palm Sunday is an unfortunate overreach already having major repercussions around the world. To the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem saying, quote, this incident is a grave precedent and disregards the sensibilities of billions of people around the world who, during this week, look to Jerusalem. Now, it seems the whole world's eyes are on Jerusalem right now and are very outraged and upset about this incident. So what actually happened? Here's what you should know about this whole situation. All holy sites in Jerusalem are completely shut down right now. Here is footage of the Western Wall completely empty and deserted because the Israeli police has it shut down for security reasons. The Homefront Command guidelines here in Israel right now are that you cannot gather in groups of more than 50 people outside, and you should always be near a shelter. And what doesn't have a shelter? The Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Also, the Temple Mount is completely shut down right now for the same reasons. And my question is, where is all the global outrage about Judaism's holiest site in the world being shut down? Will Israel be accused of being anti-Semitic for not allowing Jews to go to the Western Wall or the Temple Mount? Also, what motives would Israel have for just randomly not allowing Cardinal Pizzaballa to enter the Church of the Holy Sepulchre? Just think about this logically. In what way would that help Israel, both practically and in the eyes of the international community, to stop Pizzaballa from holding services there unless they had a very good reason for doing so? Another thing to point out is that just 2 short weeks ago, a pretty large piece of shrapnel landed on the roof of a building literally right next to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And here is a video of a missile making impact in the Old City around 1,500 feet away from the church. And here is a picture of a massive piece of shrapnel that landed in the actual courtyard of the Holy Sepulchre itself. And for some reason, I don't remember seeing the whole world get all up in arms against Iran for literally nearly hitting the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Imagine with me for a second. If Israel had allowed services to go on as normal and hundreds, if not thousands of people had gathered as usual at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and a missile had hit the church, what would have happened? Number one, Israel would have been blamed by the entire world, and maybe for good reason, for allowing the service to take place in the first place. And number two, for anyone who's ever been to Jerusalem, you know the streets are very narrow and hard to get vehicles through. So imagine, God forbid, that a missile had hit the church and there was a mass casualty incident. How hard it would be to get emergency vehicles to the church and how much more difficult it would be to evacuate everyone out of there. To me, this whole incident is one of two things. Either Cardinal Pizzaballa genuinely thought that he could just go into the Church of the Holy Sepulchre with, maybe a few people to hold a small service, or the other option is, since he obviously knew that Jerusalem's holy sites were all shut down, he did this whole thing as a political stunt. He has, in fact, been known in the past to not be the most subtle about his political views. So to recap everything that happened, Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa tried to go to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre to hold a service for Palm Sunday, even though he knew that it was shut down. He was blocked by the Israeli police, who were just doing their job, and immediately there's outrage all over the world about this incident. Even though there's been hardly any outrage about Judaism's holiest site being shut down, even as we're about to go into the holiday of Passover. Make it make sense. So after all the online and global outrage and backlash, you could call it, Bibi Netanyahu put out this statement saying that they were, in fact, going to allow the cardinal to hold services in the church. He said this, quote, "I've instructed the relevant authorities that Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa, the Latin Patriarch, be granted full and immediate access to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem." Skipping through the rest of his statement, he said, quote, "Today, out of special concern for his safety, Cardinal Pizzaballa was asked to refrain from holding Mass at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Even though I understand this concern, as soon as I learned about the incident with Cardinal Pizzaballa, I instructed the authorities to enable the Patriarch to hold services as he wishes." Also, just this morning, it was reported that Cardinal Pizzaballa had a meeting with the Israeli police to coordinate ceremonies upcoming, Easter ceremonies and such. So, if Israel is indeed persecuting Christians, as a lot of the world is claiming right now, they're obviously not doing a very good job, because after this disgruntled customer spoke to the manager, it got sorted out pretty quickly. Now, while most people would not agree that these cases are in any way similar, it is worth pointing out that the very same day that the cardinal was blocked from going to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Israeli police prevented, in at least 3 different cases, young Jewish people with a lamb from reaching the Temple Mount, remember, the holiest site in Judaism, to offer a Passover sacrifice. One other thing I would like to point out as I finish up here is that the global backlash and outrage over this incident, to me, was very selective. Reports are coming out of Nigeria that at least 30 Christians were murdered in Palm Sunday gatherings by Muslims, and yet I haven't heard a word out of all those Catholics on X who just yesterday were screaming about Israel discriminating against Cardinal Pizzaballa. I'm sorry, but I have no patience for straight up hypocrisy like this. That's it for today, guys. Remember, if you would like to see an epic film about the Temple Mount, you can pick up I'm Israel, the Mountain of the King at theisraelguys.store. Also, we just started a really cool email 3 times a week, basically giving you everything that you need to know about what's going on in the Middle East, in Israel, and in Judea and Samaria from a biblical perspective. It's a very easy to read format. If you want to sign up for that, you can do that at theisraelguys.com. We'll also put a link in the description below. As always, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.